Well everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone XR and see how this particular iPhone holds up in the later part of 2024. Now, there's some really big things to keep in mind within this particular phone. Since the mid-year of this year, since my mid-year review of this thing, we've seen a couple of changes. One, we've seen a brand new iPhone come out, the iPhone 16, but we've also just seen iOS 18 officially come out as well. So there are some pretty big changes within this particular device, and personally for me, I will definitely tell you these are really, really good devices. So I will tell you, for when the XR first came out in 2018 up until now, there's been, a lot of changes, but as of this point, my opinions on this particular phone may not be the nicest, and I do think this, phone brought a lot of stuff to the table. Well, let's go and kind of hit on the outside of this particular device first. So first of all, 6.1 inch, Retina IPS panel on the front of this particular display. Nothing super insane. We've seen panels like this before, so it's not really anything we haven't seen before, but it's still like a good looking panel nonetheless for an IPS panel. It's like 750p, definitely an outdated panel in today's standards, 60 Hz, not even an OLED. So this panel definitely doesn't look that great when compared to today's, even like an iPhone 16. You're getting a lightning port at the bottom, which is already outdated compared to USB-C. Curved sides, which again is a little outdated. And on the back side, you're getting a standard glass back on the back of this thing, which personally for me, I think looks good. It looks okay for the most part. Single camera setup. You are getting wireless charging and, IP certification. But when you're looking at this type of device, it definitely is a pretty outdated looking phone. You're getting thick bezels on this thing. And I think if this thing just had an OLED display, I think it would make things look a lot nicer. But it definitely is an outdated looking phone on the exterior, for sure. But when we're talking about iOS 18, I was very surprised that this thing got the latest version of software. This phone, as of this point, is 6 years old, and the fact that we're able to still rock these types of versions of software on this thing is amazing. And I, for one, I am a massive, massive fan of having that type of capability right there. So that right there is a very nice thing going on for this particular phone. On top of that, I will say iOS 18 in general has been, pretty decent, right? It hasn't really been that terrible of an experience. And I genuinely do think, if you're going to go through and pick up a device, the software on iOS 18, even on a XR, the oldest supported iPhone, the cheapest iPhone you can basically get on iOS 18, it's actually rocking this type of, it's rocking the hardware pretty well. So I genuinely do like having a phone like the iPhone XR, because I do feel like the performance of this phone on iOS 18 hasn't been terrible, but the overall performance of the iPhone XR in 2020, the later part of this year, I don't think it's been, terrible on iOS 18. It just so happens that this phone is aged. It's just not that fast of a phone anymore. So this is what I would probably tell you. If you were actively going through and purchasing another device, I don't really think I don't think in any way you would want to go ahead and buy something like the iPhone, XR. I think if you're currently using a device, maybe it would make a little sense to go and buy something like an iPhone XR just to kind of have one just there if you want to go ahead and just use it as a backup phone or something like that. If you're currently using one, I think you could probably make it work. But if you're actively going through, right? If you're actively going through, and if you're actually trying to use a phone on an everyday basis, I don't really think I would recommend people to buy an iPhone XR anymore, right? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I think it would make a lot more sense for you to actually go through and purchase something maybe like an iPhone 12 or an iPhone 13. Those ones would be way better devices than something like an iPhone XR. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there for the most part. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.